Hey, what's up everybody? Friday, May 21st, I'm back. I'm back in New York City. Got back last night from my Grand Canyon trip. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to talk a little bit about the markets. So, I did it. And it was, like I said, it was the toughest, most brutal thing I ever did by far. I thought I'd never get out of that canyon. Walking for hours and hours and hours, and that final, like 9.5 miles uphill. The more I trudged uphill, the more I took one step after another. I was looking at my watch. I was doing like 40-minute miles, that's a slow pace, I admit. I did the whole thing in 15 hours, but you know, as the hours went by, I mean, the top never seemed to get any closer. I kept looking up and it was like way, way up there still. I thought I'd never get out. Anyway, I did. It was an incredible adventure, if you want to call it that. I'm proud of myself for doing it. I still have to process the whole thing. I don't know if I mentioned this on my video that I made the other day, but the day before the hike, I went out and I bought a GoPro. And I've never owned a GoPro. I figured, hey, this is going to be like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I got to get a GoPro. I promised everybody, I was going to record it. So I went out, I bought a GoPro. That night I was fiddling around with the GoPro. We had to go to sleep early because we were waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I also bought this kit with a bunch of attachments for the GoPro. Like, it comes with a selfie stick. It came with this harness where you could put it on your chest. It had a thing where you could put it on your head. I mean, it had a whole bunch of accessories in there, and I was, kind of fiddling around how to work the camera. It didn't really come with any instructions. And then assembling all these accessories, and what am I going to wear? The harness or the head thing? I already was going to wear, I had a headlamp on my head. And so I thought to myself, I'm going to stick it on that selfie stick. I'm going to keep that, because that's like a telescopic stick. And I'm going to keep it, nice and short in the beginning. And then, I'll just, whenever I see something, I'll hike and I'll hold it in my hand and I'm going to record it. So I hooked that thing on. At least I thought I hooked that thing on to the selfie stick. It's got these attachments and a little screw kind of bolt that you secure the thing with. And we left early in the morning and I started the hike, and it was really cold. It was 29 degrees. I had to adjust my my headlamp, and the first 14 miles, it's all down. So we're going down, and I thought I was going down pretty fast. I was kind of almost jogging it. By the way, people do run that thing. And there's a whole story I could tell you about, people who I saw running that thing. One guy was such an inspiration, man. I'll tell you in a minute. And I'm about 15 minutes into the canyon. It's still pitch black. It was not snowing, but it was a kind of a frosty mist coming down. And a little bit of, you could see a little bit of ambient light because the sun would be coming up, I guess, about another, 45 minutes or something like that. But I could start to see the silhouette of the canyon. And I picked up the selfie stick to start recording, and there was nothing on it. The GoPro fell off. And I'm like, oh man, I'm not going back up. I said, I'm not going back up. No way, I got to keep going. So that was it on the GoPro. Now I did, and I did shoot some of it or record some of it on my iPhone. I just uploaded some videos and some photos on my blog, MikeNormanEconomics.blogspot.com. I'll put the link in the description here. But man, that was a big disappointment. I'm gonna piece together the videos I have from my iPhone, and I'll put them up here on YouTube. I don't want to put them up one by one. Unfortunately, these YouTube videos is not the same as if I would have recorded the whole thing, obviously, on a GoPro, nice, you know, semi-long of the whole thing. But that's what I have. I got the photos, and I have, you know, some iPhone videos. Anyway, there was this guy. Let me talk about these people who run it. Like, it took me 15 hours to do it. And again, it was the most brutal thing. If somebody ever asked me, hey, you think I should do it? I mean, I would say no, unless you're crazy. And the Park Service strongly advises people not to do it. But that strong advisory, I would make it 10 times more emphatic. Anyway, I don't know, we're about 3 miles from the top still. You know, it was getting a little bit late at that time. I'd say probably it was around 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. The light was going down. We still had light, but it was getting chilly again. You know, the bottom was hot, and then as we climbed up later in the day, it got chilly. And as I'm, you know, walking, and every step was just a monumental effort, I hear this guy screaming. I hear screams coming from behind me, like, ah, ah. And I turn around, and there's this guy running up. He had the physique. He looked like one of these beach volleyball players. He was tall and lean, very fit. He's running and he's screaming, and he's saying, you know, the pain is temporary. It's all in your mind. The pain is temporary. It's all in your mind. And he's running up the mountain, up the canyon. And I said to him, go, buddy, you can do it. Come on, buddy. It gave me inspiration, man. The guy was incredible, but he's right. And that applies to everything, man. The pain is temporary, and it's all in your mind. Wow, it was something else. So anyway, yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff are concepts that I talk about when it comes to mental game. You know, about the discomfort factor, about dealing with that. You know, people who get into trading and investing, and I've been coaching people for a long time, and everybody's looking for a magical system, the system fairy that's gonna make it happen for them. You know, some secret formula, some secret system, and it's going to be easy, and they're going to be clicking off profits every day, and it's going to be like the market's going to be paying them a salary. I mean, if you want fixed income, if you want income, you go for fixed income, and you get, you know, whatever, 1.6% return on a 10-year treasury or something like that. It's not like that when you're in this game. I mean, you really are going to go through periods of ups and downs. If you got the right outlook, if you have the right understanding, if you know how to manage and not overcommit, and if you're able to deal with that, you know, discomfort, like the guy said, the pain is all in your mind and it's temporary. So there's good lessons to be learned from this, you know, this trip. Anyway, look, with respect to the market, nothing has changed here in the macroeconomic outlook. Fiscal flows are very strong still. You know, the tech stock correction, all of this stuff is just a correction from, I think, a very bullish sentiment environment, and that's getting washed out. This week's AAII sentiment survey, again, down second week below the historical average. A lot of neutrals back in New York. A lot of neutrals. Now, I said last week that I think what's going to happen is that these neutrals are going to be pulled off the fence in one direction or another, and I suspect the direction is going to be when the market moves much higher. I just do not see the possibility of a significant and long-lasting market downturn with this level of fiscal support. Let me talk a little bit about cryptos. And we had some crazy volatility in cryptos. I'm going to say it again. This is my view. I mean, a lot of people are talking about cryptos because, you know, it's protection against the Fed printing money and all this stuff. I mean, that to me is just silliness. That is very unsophisticated. That's a very unsophisticated view of what's going on. My contention is, and what I've been saying all along, is that the advent of these instruments, these cryptos, is a manifestation of the world looking for an alternative to the US dollar-based payment system. And also something attractive about this is this idea maybe that it's extra governmental. In other words, governments can't get their hands on it. But as we are seeing now with China threatening to shut these guys down, and then the Fed here and the Treasury's looking into taxing this stuff, we don't even know if these things are extra governmental. I don't think they're going to go away at all. I don't think they're going to die out. I don't think they're going to collapse price-wise. I think this is the early, again, reflection of the early beginnings of a global search for an alternative. And remember that this is an outgrowth of U.S. policy that has been intentional to weaponize the dollar. So, I mean, and also the other thing is that a lot of these things, new ones, have been created. So the funds, money is flowing now rather than towards one thing, Bitcoin. It's flowing to a lot of these different things. So you're kind of getting a leveling out price-wise. But I think they're going to stay around because they're, until they are, disproven or discredited, which I don't know if they ever will be, people will allocate, money to it. So that's it. I mean, it was a crazy, I'm still getting over this whole hike thing. So yeah. Anyway, go to my website, MikeNormanEconomics.blogspot.com, see some pictures, and as soon as I piece together those videos, I'll pop them up here on YouTube. All right. See you over the weekend. Bye.